I feel like every time I see something on Borderlands 4, it's either a crazy good improvement or it's just something so weird that I can't really make sense of it. So if you guys didn't know, the devs like to tweet out a good amount for Borderlands 4, and with that obviously comes a lot of backlash from their diehard fans and everything like that. And today it is so interesting. So there's this guy on Twitter that basically posted this thing that says, Randy, this game better not be $80. Don't take that risk. A lot of gamers aren't going to pay $80 and feed this notion of constant increase of the price tag. You are the CEO, you have some say with the price when it comes to your publisher. Now, for me personally, I kind of imagine that the guy who wrote this tweet is kind of shaking his fist at the sky and saying, how dare you make anything $80? But I know that's not really what he means, right? It's just meant to be like, hey, a lot of people can't afford $80, which is fair. A lot of people can't, but inflation has gone up on games, and I think $60 to $80 is fair. I was paying $60 for the base game for a really long time. $80 for a base game does seem a little bit high, especially for a game that I don't personally play a lot. I think it's kind of strange to be introduced into a franchise for the first time ever, and the first thing you kind of see is one of their games is going to be $80. Now, can I go back and I can play the old games 100%? But I would still have to pay for all those and then the $80 on top of that. And I kind of think that's where this guy is getting at, where new fans are not going to buy it. The diehard fans will, obviously. But from this, the CEO put a very, very gross response in return. He goes, A, not my call. B, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. Whoa, whoa. If I'm a real fan, you might as well just bend me over and call me Sally while I'm getting the business from behind. The aggression behind the tweet is crazy. My local game store had Starflight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991 when I was just out of high school working minimum wage. This tweet just comes off so much as, wow, if you're broke, you should really just say that. Like, what do you mean that you're broke? And it's just so crazy to me that devs tweet this out and they think everybody's going to kind of back them going into it. And, obviously you have people saying he is right, there is inflation, the diehard fans will go into it. Obviously, this is Twitter, and you're gonna have some pretty crazy responses to this. So, will Borderlands 4 have microtransactions? Did Starflight in 1991 have microtransactions? Like, that's pretty funny in my opinion. They probably will. I love how Expedition 33 is just rubbing their balls over every AAA studio. I think the big thing that a lot of people are really missing out on is this one. Borderlands 4 narrative. Director remains firm in his criticism of Borderlands 3's overabundance of toilet humor. What do you mean? This is probably the best part of the entire game. Now, have I ever played a Borderlands in my entire life? No. Have I ever consumed any Borderlands content in my entire life? No. So all I'm saying is the toilet humor is obviously needed as a clearly diehard fan to this series. Now, I will say one thing about this tweet is they don't talk about, like, you're not going to own the game. And that's one thing that a lot of devs are getting a lot of hate for, especially these days, is you're going to spend this money, but you don't own the game. You're paying us a licensing agreement for the game, which is why a lot of people started disc collecting again over the last few years. Terrible thing for Randy to say. I mean, you can clearly see that a lot of the fans are outraged. One of the really funny things that people say when it comes to this type of stuff is they will go, oh, well, if you are going to say stuff like this, well, GG to your company, I'm going to pirate the game. That is illegal. Do not do that at home, kids. I guess my main question is at what point did this guy just rage bait the dev? This is kind of a neutral tweet, and this dev just got rage baited by a neutral tweet. This is like going into a video game lobby and telling someone they're bad, and then they just scream at you for the entire game about how they're better than you. And that's kind of how this tweet comes across, right? It kind of comes across as, well, how dare you say the game I'm working on is too expensive? I am richer than you, so I know better. Like, he could have just left it as a not my call. And it would have been that simple, which is fair because it's probably the entire board. There's probably an entire team behind the pricing that goes through not only the pricing, the marketing, the overall cost to make the games, and like get a return on the game, which makes sense. I feel like most people would say that that makes sense. But the issue comes in where how do you get rage baited as a dev? Like, I just don't understand how devs don't go through severe PR training. How are you logging onto Twitter and getting rage baited by someone saying they don't want to spend $80 for your game that doesn't even want to continue with the toilet humor? Come on. If they wanted to continue with that, it'd be worth the $80. Now, I will say that it's not as bad as what Ubisoft said. Ubisoft argues that players don't own their games, but instead receive a limited license to access them. Yeah, you're stroking me. This stance has led to legal challenges, including a lawsuit over the crew. Yeah, guys, you don't own your game. Here's the crew. I'll say one of the funniest things is that these devs basically get rage baited into exposing themselves and to exposing how they truly feel. Now, this guy could be 100% like, maybe he doesn't see this as hostile, but the community really does see this as hostile. Maybe not everybody, maybe not the diehard fans, but there is genuinely a lot of people that see this as a very hostile tweet, as you're basically just calling normal people broke. Like, how do devs ever think about this, right? If I was a dev, I feel like I'd be PR trained and it'd be so well, but these devs, they will see that you don't want to spend $150 on their base game, and they'll be like, listen here, brokey. You better buy my game, or I'm going to sue you for not buying my game. But if you do buy my game, you don't actually own it. It's my game. Don't ever tell me what is and isn't mine. It feels like an actual toddler is arguing with these people online. Like, it's actually crazy. And the people online aren't even wrong. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was just something crazy that I saw come across my feed since we just reacted to Borderlands 4. Know in the comments below what you think about devs being rage baited online and potentially throwing their companies away, throwing away potential buyers for their games. Besides that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and have a wonderful night. Peace.